Yeah, I'm hoping this goes well. We're just gonna play it by ear. All right, you guys ready to start?
All right, are we doing this?
No.
No. Oh, okay. See you guys later. All right, here we go.
Welcome back to another episode of Shoot from the Hip. We've already discussed a host of fascinating topics, some of them provided by your inquisitive minds. Today we will be just as packed with intellectual curiosities. Today we're going to be discussing some life-changing shower thoughts, discuss the best and worst billionaires, and get super hypothetical with some open-ended questions. Never forget that as we talk about these deep topics, we meticulously avoid dwelling on them too much so we can provide you with the best expert opinion. Because as with every episode of this podcast, for all our answers, we just shoot from the hip.
Feels good to be back, doesn't it?
It's great.
Every week.
Yes. So I was thinking about this today. At what point in time does, when do you become comfortable farting around other people? It's almost like when do they enter that zone where it becomes comfortable?
I think we're getting close.
All right, that's a good sign. Well, maybe not.
No, it's not a good sign.
But
because
there are those people you're comfortable with, and then it's like the group where you kind of how do you
where it's a competition or
yeah, it's kind of a competition, but you don't know how they're going to react to it. So you think you're good enough friends with them, but you don't know if you want to try it.
Is that in that third week of marriage kind of deal?
Yeah, where you're still trying. That's it's like one of those. Do you hug your father and mother-in-law?
Yeah,
like your father-in-law especially. Mother-in-law, it's just hug them. Right?
You know what's weird?
Or do you shake hands? Because whatever you do, I feel like it sets a precedent for what you're going to do.
Well, and when do you call them mom and dad, or do you not? That's a weird thing for me.
It is. I just call them mom and dad.
Really? See,
I
haven't hit that point, and I don't know why. It's just it feels unnatural for me to call them mom and dad,
right?
Because I've called them Mr. and Miss.
Just give it a shot. See what
Lancer,
happens.
Speak to this, Tom.
Yeah. So as the expert on this, just call everyone mom and dad because if they're a mom or dad, whatever.
Yeah, I think. Well, rarely is it the case when my in-laws and my actual parents were all in the same room.
Yeah.
So the mom and dad thing doesn't really get too mixed up for me personally, but it's just easier because everybody at the house is calling them mom and dad, and so I just kind of jump in on them like, "Yeah, mom and dad."
Which I think one thing that might factor in is how long did you date before you got married?
3 years.
3 years.
So
okay,
I knew them for 3 years before we got married.
Right, and we dated for 4 years, I think it was.
Okay.
So I mean,
long history there.
Yeah. So I just got so used to calling them Mr. or whatever and Miss whatever.
Here's what we need to do.
And it's always first name though.
Let's put Lancer on the spot because Lancer is single.
I like it.
And Lancer, let's say that you are going in now. You're going to get married, mail order bride situation.
Perfect.
You're going to meet her parents for the first time and say, "Hey, I'm the one marrying your daughter." Let's say she's this beautiful princess from
Russia,
Iceland, Russia, and so you're gonna marry this Icelandic princess, and you're meeting her parents. Do you go right for the hug, or do you just shake hands, keep it formal?
I think you need to hug the mom, shake hands with the dad, but maybe a bro hug, like the one arm shake hands with the bro hug,
like you're gonna arm wrestle.
Yeah,
like kind of the thumb hand slap high five.
Yeah, you slap it and you wrap the one hand around.
One hand around,
pat the back.
One pat. Yeah,
yeah. Keep it manly there, but with the other one, a nice gentle hug, maybe cheek to cheek if you're really feeling special that day.
Right. Well, one way I think that you can breach the should we call it the fart zone? The fart zone with people is maybe what you need to do is just let one rip and then blame it on them. Just be like, dude,
and make it a joke.
Come on, Lancer. Yeah. I mean, I'm in the room. Yeah. Stop doing that.
Now,
and then play it off on him, and just kind of see how he reacts to it, and then go from there.
Now, let me lay out the advice that I received from my mother growing up.
Oh,
when it comes to farting in public areas, you just find an old person. And you go and you fart by them.
This is your mom.
And then you walk. Yes, my mother. Yep. So if she listens to this, she'll know that her advice has gone and spread to whoever listens to this. And she legitimately says that. So now we fart around her.
Oh, we love you, Mom.
Wow.
Love you, Mom.
Well, let's do a little bit of shower.
Yeah,
thoughts.
let's get into these shower
Showering.
thoughts. We've done shower thoughts before. All right, so we have our shower
so
thoughts
good.
segment that we have done before, and this time we're all going to go through here and give a shower thought that we've had throughout the week, maybe something that we've thought of that was very, what would you say, very intellectual.
Yep.
Something that's really deep.
Slightly stupid, but pretty deep at the same time.
Right.
It's a fine line.
Yeah, right. So I got one for you guys, and since you guys are the experts on basically everything, I mean, we all are. This one is something that actually came up with me this week, and the question is, how do you throw away a garbage can? What do you do with it? What do you do with a garbage can that you need to throw away?
It's hard because garbage cans are so useful. Even when you don't want them anymore, they still have a lot of uses. So, like, if you move a garbage can out of the house or out of the kitchen, like for me, it generally finds a spot somewhere in like the garage or another place to collect junk. So, like, when was the last time I actually got rid of a garbage can? Probably if it like literally cracked and was shattered.
Right.
And then you just throw it in a garbage can.
I mean, yeah, like, okay, so if it's a garbage can in a garbage can, the garbage can you're throwing away has to be smaller than the garbage can you're throwing it into.
Well,
Right.
generally, when you throw away a garbage can, though, it's broken up, so
Yeah,
it
because
fits into another one.
If you have a big garbage can and you just leave it at the curb, they're not going to take it. No.
Yeah, you don't leave a garbage. They're
Maybe you just have to burn it.
man.
Is that bad for the
I was
environment?
about to say, I think the Green New Deal might have some words to say on
yeah.
that.
Man.
I think there might be a problem with inhaling plastic that's been burned as well. I don't know.
You know,
about
you
that.
might be right on that. Here, I got one for you. This one, I'm not proud of this one. It took a lot of thought. How come a group of squids is not called a squad?
Ooh.
Like, why isn't
What
that
is a
thing?
group of squids called?
I actually don't know what a group of squids are. I can
How
probably.
do you know it's not called a squad?
As you're looking it up, I want to take a guess at what it's called. I want to say it's called a cattle.
A
of
cattle?
Squid.
I think like sea lion is like a cattle or something
Yeah.
like that. Because they're all like they're giant cows anyway.
Matt,
Or I
what-
think they're called cows or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
What are you going to guess it is before Aaron actually finds
a group of squid
a group of squid? What would you call it?
tentacles.
Tentacles.
So technically, right now, what I can find is that it is called a shoal. SHOAL. But there is
So
a
close.
serious petition out there.
There's a petition.
There is an active petition by the scientific community to change the name of a group of squids to a squad.
nice.
Science
Man.
doing the real work right there.
See,
Like,
that's
making
what we
sure
bring
to
you
do
on Shoot from the Hip. We're changing the world with these shower
Yeah.
thoughts.
Absolutely. So I got a really interesting one, and this is more of a thought experiment more than anything else. But I guess it's a possible experiment. If you're walking down the street with the Pope like you normally do,
All the time.
and you sneeze, and the Pope says, "Bless you," does your snot become holy water, or holy snot, or whatever?
That's from somebody who says I never have good shower thoughts. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Wow.
Well,
Which would be pretty great, because then you could like bless people with
Right.
some holy snot.
you could literally throw Kleenexes on people. You could probably sell Kleenexes on eBay.
Whoa.
Don't
Dude,
they
think
do
of the
that
money.
already?
Yeah, but I mean, you could be like, "This is my snot is." I don't know. Could you get like validation,
Blessed by the
like
Pope.
like a letter sign from
You
the Pope?
have to sit next to the Pope all day just sneezing, and he always says bless you, then you sell those Kleenexes. That's a business idea.
Can you imagine just like
How are we
the
going to sit next
awesome-
to the Pope all day?
Can you imagine the awesomeness of just like just you're by the Pope, which doesn't seem that awesome to me. I don't really care, but sneezing and then him going, "Bless you, my son," or "My child," or something like that.
Well, you know where "bless you" came
Great.
from, right? So "bless you," I believe, originated with the bubonic plague, didn't it? So
Maybe.
the original thing was like sneezing was a sign that you had the plague, and so people would say "bless you" or "God bless you" to like try to reverse the curse of the bubonic plague. So
I've heard another one too, where people thought that when you sneezed, your soul became like available to demonic
On the black market.
whatever. And so then they would say "bless you" because
it would reverse the demonic.
I guess,
yeah.
or yeah.
I've heard that too, and I heard science to back it up that when you sneeze, your heart stops for a moment, which means
Yes.
technically you died, which means your soul left your body for a moment.
That's
Man,
wow.
we're bringing all kinds of science
Man.
and history here with the shower thoughts. How about
Man.
this one? This one comes in from a listener.
Ooh.
Anthony in Missouri. Shout out Anthony.
Anthony.
He's one of my boys.
Hey, Tony.
He came up with this. This is pretty good. If you are at a restaurant and you're waiting for the waiter, does that make you the waiter?
I like it.
That's,
Yes, and it means you tip yourself if you did a good job.
Oh, that's
Oh,
a great
if you do a
idea.
good job waiting,
Yeah.
or if you wait for a certain, I don't know. How long
If,
do you
if
have-
you wait long enough for the waiter, you get the waiter's tip.
I was
Is
going
the
to
way
say,
that works.
what is the amount of time where if a waiter doesn't show up, the tip starts going down?
Is there?
That was a really loud
Sorry.
swallow.
That was a loud swallow. I apologize for that
Um,
one. I don't know if there's a set time. It depends because it very much depends on what kind of food you're ordering, and there's too many variables in that. So I don't know if there's a time. Like I'm not gonna sit there and like start my 5-minute timer like as soon as the waiter walks away.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're sitting there and it's like 3 minutes and no one showed up at the table,
Yeah.
do you kind of think in the back of your mind, like, all right, I'm going to have to dock this person a little bit?
Oh yeah. I mean those thoughts start going through my mind, but there's no set time. It's
Right.
it's a feel thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it all depends on the restaurant too.
Yeah, that's true.
So if it's like a Ruby Tuesdays, which is disgusting and terrible, I mean, don't expect anything great, right?
Right.
So-
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel
Unless
it.
Ruby Tuesday wants to sponsor this podcast, in which we will retract these statements.
Hey, I got another shower thought that I thought was great, and tell me what you guys think about this. So wireless chargers are actually more restrictive than the typical normal phone charger. Have you ever thought of that?
That is true.
So your wireless charger, you lay it there and you can't move it.
Right.
You can't use it while you're trying to charge.
It's true.
So
Yeah, you're
wireless
not-
chargers are kind of. I'm not a fan of them.
You know what I hate about wireless chargers? They're wired.
Yeah.
It makes me angry. I'm like, they're wired. So what's the point? Yeah. No, I feel you on that.
The wireless charger thing doesn't really spark me as this great innovation. Like
Yeah.
I think the best application is in a restaurant where you can, if you're in a Starbucks or something and you can lay your phone on the counter and it just you boost a little bit of charge while you're sitting there. But like in your house or like on your desk, I don't know if I'm missing something, but it's not really a burden to plug the cord into my phone.
No.
And like you said, you can pick it up and text with it, and it's going to still charge.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't really get the whole phenomena with, having a wireless charger, especially in your house. I get the application in a restaurant,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. All right. So how about this? If you try to fail and succeed, which have you done?
oh, that's really good.
That's a classic one. I think I've heard this one before, and I really like it. So I thought we should talk about it.
So what were you attempting?
You were trying to fail.
You were attempting failure.
Yes.
And you failed,
Right.
right? So
By
you
succeeding.
achieved both.
Right.
Okay. You complete your goal, which is success. But you were also shooting at nothing. You were shooting to
Fail.
to miss your mark.
Well-
and you accomplish that. So you do fail, but at the same point in time.
Is it possible to try to fail and succeed? Because if you're trying to fail, then you're succeeding. You're not failing.
This just got way too deep.
We're in a paradox
Oh,
here.
man.
Man.
Lancer's really thinking. He's got.
Yeah, my brain has like steam coming out of it
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to figure this one
I'm
out.
seeing
Okay.
some sweat beat up on that bald head.
Yeah. So if you're trying to fail but you succeeded in the process, did you fail or did you succeed?
Right.
Oh man, that's tough. I'm going to say that you failed because you didn't actually do what you were trying to do, which was to fail. Which means you
So
did
you
what you
failed
wanted
to
to do.
fail.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good with that. I'm
So
good with that.
if you failed to fail, then you succeeded.
Yeah.
Okay, I
I
see.
think. I don't know.
I think I follow that
I don't
logic.
know anymore, man. I don't know.
Oh man, wow. Anyways, if you guys got shower thoughts that you want to send to us, you can submit that at Twitter at Hip Shot Podcast. Yes, it does sound like you're literally blowing your hip off. That's okay. At Hip Shot Podcast on Twitter and Facebook. I believe it's www.facebook/
At Facebook.com/shoot from the hip
Shoot from
podcast.
the Hip Podcast. There we go. And you can submit those to us, or just text us. I mean, that's actually easier.
Should I mention now? Because I think it's worth mentioning.
Oh,
We
yeah.
have an Instagram.
We're on the grams.
Whoa.
After much begging from you guys, we have a Instagram, and surprise, surprise, Shoot from the Hip was taken. So we did Hip Shot Podcast on Instagram.
All right.
Should we just change the name of this podcast? I don't know.
No.
Okay.
I shot my hip podcast.
No.
All right. Well, let's move into a little news segment we've got called Dastardly Dilemmas. Matt, take it away.
All right. So this segment is a little bit of an open-ended question kind of segment. And we wanted to, instead of doing like a would you rather, we wanted to have some questions that were a little bit more just kind of out there. So with that being said, each of us have a question for everyone else, including themselves, I guess. And they're just completely off the wall.
Yeah,
so,
they're ridiculous.
let me go ahead and start.
Be our guest.
And this one's kind of a would you rather, but it's not. So it's, would you flip a coin if heads meant you instantly receive $10 billion and tails meant you die instantly?
$10 billion
$10
or
billion.
death.
Would you flip the coin?
I would have to say no, only because that would be a really horriable reason to stop being a husband and a parent for
Fair enough.
money.
Fair enough. Well, I think Lancer's going to be the more interesting.
Yeah, Lancer, you probably have like I don't know, you probably have less that's like bringing you to make a super practical decision right here.
Just some loving parents.
Well,
no big
here's
deal.
like nothing really. No. Well, I mean,
You got nothing to live
here's
for.
the thing, guys. I'm gonna make $10 billion anyway. Like, it doesn't matter if I flip this coin or
Off
not.
of this podcast.
Yeah, off this podcast, off of my YouTube channel with like 4 subscribers right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna pass on flipping the coin because 10 billion's coming in my wallet anyway. It doesn't matter.
If it was something besides death, even if it was like if you were alive, but let's say you were like paralyzed for the rest of your life, that's a different question.
Yeah.
Death is just like, man, I don't even get to say anything else after this.
All right, so I hate to be like, let's change the question, but let's go ahead and change the question to paralyzation for the rest of your life.
That's $10 billion. A lot of people are paralyzed.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was like a really realistic thing, you're paralyzed from like the neck down the rest of your life. I probably flip the coin.
You flip the coin?
I think I would.
I think at that point I would flip the coin as well. There's been plenty of people who've been successful,
Right.
quadriplegics.
And
all, so.
honestly,
And flipping coins.
it would be really burdensome.
50-50.
It would be really burdensome, obviously, to my family. But there are so many advancements in technology with medicine. I think you can work your way around a lot of that. And honestly, for my occupation, I'm a preacher, so it doesn't affect my ability to actually comprehend and talk.
Well, you know what's really like frustrating about this question is it's not like $1 million but. So it's not like you get $1 million but you're paralyzed. It's you might get $10 billion or you might get nothing and just
Right.
be paralyzed.
I'm a little bit of a risk taker, and my wife would be like, absolutely not. If the coin, if the thing was flip a coin and you get $10 billion or you lose $10,000, my wife would be like, yeah, I'm not flipping that coin.
Yeah.
Like there's no way I'm giving up $10,000. But for me, I'm like, heck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm paralyzed.
All right.
I don't think I'd risk it just because I don't know. I'll go with less money. That's just me.
You don't
I'm
need
okay.
much money.
I'm okay with what I got.
I'll take if you get any extra. I'll take it. I mean, not a big deal.
No.
So
I didn't say I had extra for you.
Now that Matt makes me feel like I'm a total loser for flipping this coin.
Yes. I am the superior being. But
All
go
right.
ahead.
All right, I've got a dastardly dilemma for you, and here's my question. It's very open-ended. If all animals could be domesticated, which one would you choose as a pet if you can only choose one?
Oof.
And I have my answer, but I'm interested to hear what you would think, just kind of gut reaction. If any animal could be domesticated, what you would choose as a pet?
Cheetah. I don't know. That's just the first thing that came to mind. I like cheetahs. They're stinking fast.
I was gonna say if that thing ever ran away from you on the leash, it'd be
It's
hard.
domesticated. I'll just call it back.
Hey, my dog's domesticated. Sometimes. What if the cheetah sees like the neighbor's impala?
Why does the neighbor have an impala?
Because all animals are domesticated. Of course. Just takes off and just wipes it out.
All right,
That'd be awesome.
So we know from past episodes that I love just fighting massive animals and just going at it.
Yeah.
But I'm going on a different path here, and I don't think this animal is domesticated. So
They are now.
It's about to be. I want a pet penguin. I think that would be pretty awesome.
That
just
would be
a
awesome.
swimming pool in the backyard and just hanging out with a pet penguin back there.
That would be pretty slick.
I feel like
your house would be cold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I feel like they'd be very particular with like the climate and stuff like that.
So I'm going complete opposite spectrum from you, Lancer. I'm going with an elephant.
Nice.
And first of all, rideability factor. You're gonna look like a complete boss
That would be pretty awesome.
riding through town on your elephant.
But man, you gotta clean up those.
Yeah, everything comes with some downside. You're gonna have some huge piles.
There is no Ziploc that can fit that.
No, there isn't. But I'll tell you this: I'm gonna have some property, and I'll have a wicked manure section in my garden.
Nice.
So, but I mean, think about if you need to pick up heavy things. I mean, this thing can literally, like, you could actually Swiss Family Robinson, like, harness this thing and use it to pull whatever. I think they were, like, lifting boards or something up to build their treehouse with an elephant. It's got a trunk
been a
on
long
it.
time since I've seen
Come
or
on,
read
catch up
anything
on
on
your
Swiss
Family Robinson.
Robinson.
But I mean, yeah, it's got the trunk. It can help you lift things. They're super calm, and honestly, they live for like 70 years. So you can have this pet like your whole life. And so, yeah, I'm taking an elephant too.
Yeah,
Plus,
just make sure you never do anything bad to it because elephants never forget. So
they don't. Yeah, it might hold a little bit of a grudge. Lancer,
Yeah.
you got one?
another animal?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Different question.
But yeah, no. So here is one that it's actually somewhat on the same line as yours, Aaron. What would the world be like if we frequently had encounters with fire-breathing dragons? I want to know what our life would be like every day, just driving to work and
Warm.
Scary. I was gonna say hot. So I feel like I would very quickly buy stock in a fire insurance company because that would be like number one. Actually, I don't even know. They probably wouldn't even insure.
So I have a question for you on this hypothetical. Is this like we have always lived with this, or this is suddenly I have to live with this?
like it's something that's always been around, kind of like a bear or something. You know,
Okay, so it's just
not
like
super common to interact with them, but like occasionally.
yeah, every once in a while they just
Yeah.
come down, burn down your neighborhood, and go off.
Every
And-
once in a while, they burn down my neighborhood. How often is this?
see, I feel like we would have
A neighborhood or my neighborhood?
just yours in particular.
Oh,
They just come after
dang.
you.
we found ways to harness all kinds of crazy things. I feel like we could harness this thing.
So like, what would be different? Like, how would we harness it? How would we get to work?
Well, first of all, I think that we would not live in wood houses. That seems a little counterproductive. We'd either live like in cave systems or like underground or something like that.
First thing
Like
I would
hobbit
do.
holes.
No, the first thing you do is you go to Walmart. You buy like the 3-pack of How to Train Your Dragon series.
There you go.
You bring it
Okay.
home and you start just binge watching that and taking copious notes.
so that
Or Dragonheart.
so these movies wouldn't be just like fantasy; they'd be like
No, it's
instructional
real life.
material.
Yeah, it's instructional videos.
Secondary question. Does the dragon talk like Sean Connery?
Yes, of course.
Then okay,
Of course.
then we're all good. like
Or Benedict Cumberbatch.
yeah.
That would be challenging. How about, man?
Be like a Rain of Fire situation.
It would. I've got another one for you. This one's pretty broad. If you could live in any cartoon universe, which would you choose to live in? This is a tough question. Initially, one of my thoughts was, I want to be a Ninja Turtle and fight crime and eat pizza. How could you, I mean, the pizza on there looks amazing. Has a cartoon ever made food look so appetizing as the pizza on Ninja Turtles?
you're
It's
so right.
pretty amazing.
You know how many episodes of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I've seen?
I'm gonna say
I'm gonna go with no, 0,
less than one.
1.
Yeah.
Is it zero?
It's 0.
Oh, wow. Well, basically, you're a turtle and you eat pizza and you fight crime.
Right.
So
that's what I've
sewer.
heard.
That's still pretty awesome.
Mhm.
But so it's the Lego universe is pretty cool too, because you can just build whatever you want.
That would be pretty awesome.
So I guess I'm going to ask a question to you about my question, and it's would like Toy Story count?
Ooh,
Because that would be super cool
it is technically animation.
to be a toy living in that universe.
Yeah,
Like that would be so awesome.
that would be pretty legit.
Like
well,
kids play with you. It's like you don't necessarily die,
Right.
But then whenever they're done, you live this secret life of your own.
but you could end up like the aliens in the little fork thing. What's that thing called? I forgot. The claw thing.
Oh, yeah, where
the
it gets
claw
it.
game. Yeah, and
So you could,
the claw.
but you could also be Buzz Lightyear.
that's true.
And you could be running around, just having mad adventures.
You said Buzz Lightyear, right?
Yeah.
Because it really sounded like you said Bud Lightyear.
Bud Lightyear
not
getting
the-
wasted
that's
in
not
the parking lot.
So as far as the cartoon universe goes, y'all are choosing like somewhat stressful ones. I think. Like I
Are
would,
we?
I would want to live in one where there's like no crime, no bad things, something
like
like
Peanuts.
yeah, like Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown would be great. Like just low stress.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, nothing really that bad happens there. It's
Except
pretty-
for that, every time you would go to kick a football, some little brat's going to pull it out from underneath you at the last minute.
Yeah.
And you're going to go flying on your back, and people are going to be making fun of you because you're Charlie Brown.
But there is the adventure of fighting the Red Baron with Snoopy, so
I thought he goes solo on that, though.
he does kind of go solo. You're not wrong. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe
The
you
World
can
War
tag
I
along
flying
somehow.
ace. Yeah.
Be his rear gunner or something.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a good one though. There's a lot of backyard kind of sentiment with that. A lot of pseudo friendships, and Charlie Brown didn't have many friends, but collectively they all kind of hung out together. I don't know. I just think like the fighting crime sort of thing would be pretty awesome, and especially if you're a Ninja Turtle or something like that. You have basic or like a Power Ranger. You've got powers.
I was a pretty big Ninja Turtle fan growing up, and you noticed that they had swords and stuff, but they never really killed anybody with them. They would still just kick them, but they had these weapons, but they never really used them. You ever thought about
It's
that?
kind of like Batman.
Yeah.
Like Batman never really wins. Like he never really defeats a foe.
Yeah.
He just kind of like he will subdue them for a period of time, but it's like the Joker always ends up getting out or something like that. And it's
Right.
like he does enough for people to think he's a hero, but he also doesn't do too much to ensure that he is still needed.
Yeah. He's not like an original like Captain America
No, he's not like
who takes out a gun and actually shoots people.
he's not Deadpool, who's just
Well,
like
yeah.
literally will, I'm a bad guy who's basically taking out bad guys.
Right.
Sort of a thing.
So I got this one's a little bit kind of out there, I guess, but I think it's kind of interesting. What occupation? Because I feel like there's a lot of these. What occupation would you not want in the Middle Ages?
Oh man.
Yeah, the Middle Ages thing is where it hones down in. So I'll go ahead and kick it off just so that you guys can think about it for a second. I'm gonna go with the poison taster.
That's
I mean, can you imagine going to work and kissing your wife goodbye?
Is that literally a job?
I'm pretty sure that was a responsibility of a particular individual.
Yeah, they're
but
like the King's cupbearer, I think, is
Yes.
what it was, right?
I believe so. But I'm not sure how often that rotated, or like if it was like kind of like a squire position, like someone coming up. But regardless, like, can you imagine like going to work that day? It's like, yeah, I might not make it today, but we'll see. But generally, it's okay in the kingdom. Generally, but you get some.
Man, yeah,
situation.
that's a tough one. I'm trying to look really quickly here through what I think would be challenging. This one right here is just terrible to me, and that would be a bookbinder. That just seems like you're not an author.
No.
Your job is literally to take pages and clamp them together and put
Yep.
leather on the outside. What a monotonous job. Like I would probably drive myself insane.
Well, and you know that it was like an arduous thing. It wasn't like,
Yeah, it wasn't like
stick
you-
it in the machine.
No, yeah, it wasn't like you have all this equipment like we do today.
Right,
It's
yeah.
a very laborious
Oh, yeah.
process. So being a bookbinder would be so boring. And I mean, of all the jobs in the Middle Ages, like you would want to do something exciting. That would be terrible.
Now, Aaron, would that be worse than the person who has to hand copy the books, like write everything word for word?
I don't know. That may be very challenging. I mean, either
Yeah.
way, that would be like a form of punishment for me because I can get bored really easy. But yeah, both of those are terrible.
I feel like there are worse occupations, though. When we talk about Middle Ages, I mean, just being a peasant was pretty sucky back then.
Yeah, but like, I think maybe the executioner would be a job that I wouldn't be a big fan of.
You might have a little bit of PTSD after that.
Yeah, that would be a little stressful. Like if you only halfway did your job, that was a problem.
Yeah, I
So-
think there was a story about that. I forget who it was. If it was one of the one of those queens getting beheaded, and the executioner missed with the axe and hit like the shoulders, and so he had to swing again, and then jump around him. I was like, okay, all right,
that is-
sweet.
that is neat. Can you imagine like the blood like hitting you in the face, but yeah, you
gracious.
don't kill somebody and they're like screaming. Oh Lord.
Yep.
So let me flip that question around the other way.
Okay.
And let's throw us all back in the Middle Ages, and you can choose your occupation.
Okay.
What are you choosing?
A Templar. I think, well, and I say that purely from like a romantic view of like what the Templars were and how the whole like knighthood, like all of chivalry comes out of that, and all of the idea of honor and glory in battle and stuff like that came from the Templars.
So Matt, I'm asking for a friend. What is a Templar?
What is a Templar?
Yeah,
the
a friend of mine asked.
the Templars are like the main like religious knights of the time, which at that point in time, with the Crusades and things, they were the guys who had the crosses on their shields, but they were like the elite knighthood.
Okay, Aaron, what are you thinking you would be?
So I know what I would be. Matt's going for like the upper echelon, highfalutin warrior sort of a guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that upper echelon warrior, but I am a warrior.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a straight up archer.
Yeah,
Like that's my thing. I love to shoot archery, but
you just like to sit in the back of the pack and fire up.
yeah, I'm kind of a sniper.
Yeah.
I can see myself. I can see coward. Wow, it'll be tough when you got an arrow coming through the back of your neck. Call me a coward. So, anyways, climbing up on a roof, just taking people out, and then once you run out of arrows, I mean, basically their job then was to muck it up.
Yeah, yeah.
Just pull the sword out, start whacking heads off.
Yeah.
And so, not going to be. I'm not the biggest guy. Matt, you can also attest to this.
Yeah,
so,
I'm quite
seeing
the
as you are
Templar
a
body.
Templar, boy, that chainmail and stuff is going to get very heavy after.
But
a while.
let me tell you, if you've ever gone to like the Museum of Art in Philadelphia and you look at the suits of armor, those guys were like 5'4". Those
Midgets.
guys were short, man. Like it's nuts. Like you're like, that's a 5'6" knight. I could have been a knight.
I could have kicked his butt.
Yeah. But it's pretty insane. Well, and I think a lot of that's because of stunted growth with bad
less nutrition.
yeah,
and
bad
everything.
nutrition, bad living conditions, stuff like that. Yeah.
One of the jobs that I looked up, it actually says that people were like rat removers on here.
Nice.
Yeah, it actually says there were rat catchers because of the vermin.
Yeah.
And,
And the bubonic plague.
yeah,
and stuff like
that was
yeah.
a job, was to be a rat catcher. That's a pretty bad job.
Yeah, you're pretty much signing your death warrant, getting the plague with that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're going to go through a lot of gloves.
Or you have the best immune system out of everyone.
The plague
Probably
will never
not,
get
but-
you. Plague will never get
But
you.
think of how many people will be saying "God bless you" to you, right?
Yeah.
Quite a few,
Including the Pope.
That's true. Lancer, you did not tell us. What are you going to be?
I would totally be a wizard. Just like
Okay.
the magic and just like throwing like
Mixing potions in your.
just
in your
looking all like old and decrepit and
I
and a
believe
pointy
they
hat.
called that kindling. That you were the first person to get burned.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that means, but whatever. So,
It would be pretty fun to be a minstrel, just to like walk around with a lute in the castle, just like singing random poems and stuff like that.
What's like the jester, which was like the truth teller of the time, who didn't get murdered for making fun of the king, although he did have to make the king laugh.
Yes,
or else. So there's that. But
all right, well that was a lot of fun. We'll bring dastardly dilemmas back, and we'll move on to our last segment today, which is start, sit, and cut. And this is kind of an interesting game. It's played oftentimes in the sports realm where we will get 3 options or 3 people, and you have to choose whether you're going to start them, sit them, or cut them, like on a team. And so whoever you're cutting is obviously the person you care the least for, and you have your reasons for that. Whoever you're starting, they're going to be the one you have the closest connection to. They're the most important. And then the sit is, they're more the bench reserve role. So we're going to do that today, but we're going to do start, sit, and cut with billionaires. And they can be a very polarizing topic. And we have 3 polarizing men today.
very nice.
And we're going to go with Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. Is it Bezos or Bezos? I'm going to go with
I don't
Bezos.
know. I've heard it both ways, and I was questioning.
We're
myself.
gonna go Bezos. Jeff, if you're listening and you want to sponsor the podcast, just hit me up
and correct us with.
And feel free to correct us.
Yeah.
We'll definitely pronounce your name right for a small fee. And the last one is Mark Zuckerberg. And we're gonna go start, sit, or cut. And I'm gonna throw it to Matthew first on this.
All right. So for the start, and I know that he's been in a decent. All of these guys have been in a decent amount of controversy recently.
Yes.
But I guess most recently we've had Jeff Bezos, and I'm gonna start him because I know that he's going through the whole divorce thing and stuff like that. But he's been probably the most consistent on the business side of things. And that's why I'm going to start Jeff Bezos. And so when it comes down to Amazon and the Amazon brand, and then all of the brand backing behind Bezos, he's had such success, and he's a good businessman regardless of his personal situation currently. Like, his spotlight, as far as like the whole divorce thing, is not his business side.
Right.
And that's why I'm going to start Bezos.
So are you starting him because Amazon is so important to you and because you feel like you couldn't go without it?
Of course.
Okay.
I mean, like, I could get rid of Walmart and just have Amazon, and I would be a happy man.
Sure.
100%.
I
2-day shipping all day long.
I could agree. All right. Are we going to go everyone do their start or everyone just go through all 3?
You want me to go through the rest of them?
Yeah, let's try that.
I'll
Go
finish it
through
up,
your
yeah.
next.
All right, so on the bench, I'm going to put Elon Musk.
Ooh.
And now I'm putting Elon Musk on the bench and not cutting him like I am Zuckerberg, and I'll get to him in a minute. But I'm putting him on the bench because he's the wild card. Elon Musk is the guy who says, I'm going to build a track in Los Angeles, and so then I'm just going to dig a hole. And he just starts and he does it. Right. If he wants to do something, he does it. And that's what I kind of like about him. He's a wild card. He thinks outside of the box, and that's what makes him a little bit crazy, a little bit successful.
Agreed.
Now the guy that I'm cutting is Zuckerberg, and for obvious reasons, I feel like he's just been in way too much controversy. He's basically a robot. We've seen him give his testimony and drink water like who knows what. And Zuckerberg can just get cut and go off to the side because, I mean, there's just too much controversy, too many problems with Facebook, and he's got a big brand. He's got a lot of backing on his business side of things, but just I don't trust him. All right.
So I'm going to piggyback off what Matt just said there. I will have to agree on the starting with Jeff Bezos. I think his business model is definitely one here to stay, for sure, more than the other two. People always need products. He's figured out a way to get it at a cheap price to you fast. I don't know of a guy whose business has revolutionized things more than Jeff Bezos. And no matter what is going on with him in the news,
Sam Walton.
I mean, yeah, he's like the new Sam Walton in a way, yeah. So even though with all the stuff that's going on, I agree. Like the things that are going on with him personally are not going to affect me stopping my Amazon Prime or me getting anything like from the internet. I'm not going to change my habits because of whatever.
But
he
honestly,
might be doing.
is it really okay? I don't want to sound like super weird on this, but it's actually not that much of a controversy. To me,
No.
It's really just a back and forth war because he has the money and he has the resources in order to fight back where most people don't against blackmail. Now, I'm not saying I'm not obviously advocating for what he's done, but it's not like he's the only billionaire that's ever been promiscuous. But he's actually taken the fight public.
Yes.
And saying, okay, if we want to do this, I've got the power to do this.
Yeah.
Which most people, that are blackmailed don't have the ability to do.
Right.
So I actually don't think it's like the most controversial thing that he's in the news going back and forth with.
Yeah.
Is it National Enquirer? I believe it is.
Something like that?
Yeah,
I think it's a National Enquirer. So
Yeah.
I actually don't think it's like the most controversial thing.
Yeah.
Right. So sitting on my bench, slight amendment to what Matt did, I'm sitting Mark Zuckerberg on my bench. And Mark Zuckerberg has been through some controversy. And we were all a little concerned about Facebook there for a while. But I think, honestly, he learned from that controversy. And he is going to do better from here on out.
You heard it here first, America.
I think things are. I think Facebook's honestly here to stay. I don't see it going anywhere. There's Snapchat, there's Instagram, there's Twitter, and we're on a lot of these. But I feel like the Facebook is the number one.
Facebook.
The Facebook is the number one. And honestly, the main reason why I'm sitting Mark Zuckerberg is because I really think I need to cut Elon Musk. I feel like out of those, Elon Musk. Now, don't get me wrong.
Is it the marijuana thing?
It actually has nothing to do with the marijuana thing. I love Elon Musk and what he's done.
And the marijuana thing?
And no, like
especially.
Here's the thing. I think Elon Musk is taking on too much at once, and he's too divided. He's too diverse. Which being diverse is a good thing in business, from what I understand. But I think he's too diverse. He's going to Mars. He's building trains. He's got these solar cities.
Got a flamethrower.
He's got his flamethrower going on. I mean, he's got a lot of stuff going on. But also, he just got rid of all of his patents for Tesla. So he just made them open source to the public. So I'm thinking Elon Musk might be kind of going a little crazy, maybe smoking a little too much marijuana on the Joe Rogan show.
Have you paid attention to his Twitter at all? It's pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Some of his
Twitter.
random junk.
He's a great tweeter.
He is.
Yeah, I love Elon
Off
as a
the
person,
wall.
but I'm feeling like he's a little bit too of a loose cannon.
So I saw one the other day, just real quick before you do yours. I saw one the other day that Elon posted. It was a video of them testing one of their new rockets for SpaceX, and he said, "Kind of a flamethrower." It's like, that's awesome.
So I'm going to go a different direction than all three of you, and I'm starting Elon Musk.
Nice.
And this is like the most Aaron choice out of the group, because if you know me, I'm kind of a riskier, wing it, fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. I'm not saying that's a good thing. That's just how I am. And here's my thing with Elon Musk. I do think he is a little probably over diversified right now in different businesses, but I don't feel like any of them he would be unsuccessful in. He finds a way. For instance, I feel like what Jeff Bezos has done with Amazon and with literally eliminating a lot of retail industry is amazing. But I think what Elon Musk is doing in the realm that he's doing it, I think he's got a lot more. There's a lot of different ways where he can grow.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like Zuckerberg and Bezos are the CEOs, and then Elon Musk is just an entrepreneur.
Elon Musk is, to me, he's kind of an anomaly.
Yeah.
He's kind of our modern day inventor.
Yes.
And so he's a little like Bezos and Zuckerberg.
I won't put him up there with like Tesla, like some people do.
I'm not going to put him up there with that
But-
because that technology's already been here.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff
True.
that he's come up with is pretty amazing. I know this isn't like the most crazy headline ever, but I know that he's had more than one meeting at the Pentagon about SpaceX and a flying suit for people.
Yeah.
that
That is stinking amazing. So I feel like, plus Elon Musk is, I would feel the most chill out of all of them. Like if there's anybody we wanted to come in here and host a podcast with, by far the number one choice is Elon Musk. He's the most interesting guy to talk to.
He's interesting, but he's kind of boring. Have you listened to a podcast with him?
I have.
Yeah.
And I think the way that he talks.
It's like listening to Jack Dorsey do a podcast.
I think what he's trying to do I think part of it is he's trying to dumb down all of his thoughts so that they're comprehensible for the little peasants like us. But he is a really fascinating guy.
Yes.
I know that if I hang out with Elon Musk, listen, we're gonna have some fast cars. We're gonna have a lot of fun. We're gonna chop it up. I don't love the marijuana thing, and yes, he is a little bit of a wild card. But I do think he is special as far as innovative qualities, and I think that he's the special. I just don't think there's many people like him that can look at a hypothetical situation and realistically put on paper how it could be done. And so for that reason, I'm starting him. Plus, I kind of think he's the most fly by the seat of his pants. Let me wing it, and I'll just put a train under the ground that goes 400 miles an hour.
He definitely is the most interesting.
And eliminate air travel, and that's what I like about Elon Musk.
Is he the most interesting man in the world?
He might be.
It all depends on if his bird baths attract bald eagles. If that is the case, he could be the most interesting man in the world. Okay, moving on. I'm sitting Jeff Bezos on the bench, and the reason for this is because Mark Zuckerberg is an idiot. That's the main reason for this. Jeff Bezos, I commend what he's done. Amazon is a great company, albeit not perfect, but has done very well. Bezos has made a fortune in that. I think currently is he number one in the world? I think he's number one, definitely in the U.S. I think he might be number one in the world. I think he's over $140 billion or $150 billion. Yeah. It's some insane amount of money. But so I feel like I keep him on the bench. You know, if we go hang out, he's going to bankroll a lot of things, and that's kind of how I feel about him. I like Amazon as a company. I've had good fortune with them. Not as interesting of a person, a little bit older too, so not as relatable to me. These are super important reasons, as you can tell, why I'm putting him on the bench. And lastly, I'm cutting Mark Zuckerberg because first of all, you know, kid's a college dropout, and he's spying on people with Facebook. Okay, I don't know if you guys run into this, but I can talk to my wife about things. I'm like, oh, you know what? We ought to look into buying one of these. And she'll be on Facebook later that night, and there'll be ads for it.
Yeah, from Amazon, too. It happens both places.
So
yeah, that is creepy. I'm not going to lie. That's creepy.
That's a little bit weird. So,
especially if you have, like, an Alexa device.
I don't.
Okay.
So even without that, it's still, you know, but Facebook isn't really my thing. I understand the importance of it.
Yeah.
I understand the platform. But every time I go, you know, onto Facebook, it's just, you know, people use it as their own little personal blog about their drama, and I can't stand it. And I don't think it's the greatest platform. I would much prefer Twitter as far as social media is concerned. Plus, I just kind of don't like him as a person. When he came before the Senate, I thought he seemed very disingenuous, and I thought he acted like he was in over his head when it came to actually answering questions. Yeah, and he was trying really hard to not tell the truth. Yeah. And he was trying to act like, I'm really sincere about this, and we're absolutely not suppressing this, that, or the other. But it just felt like a total con job.
Have you seen the things with him drinking the water?
Yes.
It's okay.
Yeah, he was a thirsty guy. But anyways, I'm cutting Mark Zuckerberg for that reason. I just don't feel like we have anything in common, and it would be like talking to a brick wall.
I want to do a little experiment with us from now till a couple podcasts from now, okay?
Okay.
I want us to talk about something that none of us have ever searched up online to buy and see if its ads start popping up. And we're not going to, like, I'm not doing a Google search on this right now. So, like, let's say, for instance, I really want to buy a clock.
So just start talking about a clock.
So, yeah, I need to buy clocks.
What kind of clock?
I need some sort of wall clock. Something I can put up in my house as a decoration. And let's see if ads.
But what if they hear that we're talking about this like it's a hypothetical? Then they'll be like, "No, we're not going to do it."
I don't know if their algorithms are that sophisticated.
You don't know?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Mark could be listening on the line right now, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I definitely don't want to put this up because I don't want everybody to know that I'm really spying on you." So Lancer's buying a clock. Man, I gotta think of something here. I'm gonna go with a desk lamp. I could use a nice desk lamp. I have a very nice lamp in my office on my little I don't know, whatever that table is, side table. But could use a desk lamp, maybe something cool, something modern. I'm sure something will pop up on the Facebook feed about, maybe a pretty wicked desk lamp.
I had to think of something that I don't want or never have wanted. And first thing that comes to mind is a bullhorn.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Because,
Well,
I need
I've got
of
one
those.
right there. So
Yeah,
in
yeah,
case you ever do need one, you can just borrow mine. But,
Right. But I don't want to borrow yours because I want to buy one.
Right. Potentially.
Yes.
So-
Yes. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. We will be posting at least some of these options, definitely some of these start, sit, cut options on Twitter because Facebook won't let me do more than two options for a poll. So if you have a Twitter, you better go and check us out at Hipshot Podcast. And be sure to go over there, follow us, and vote on your favorite options there. You can also subscribe to this podcast on SoundCloud, which is probably what you're listening to us on. It's soundcloud.com/shoot from the hip podcast. And hopefully soon, you'll be able to find us on iTunes, because that is in the works. We're waiting on approval for that. So you should be able to find us over there pretty soon. And then also we should be over on iHeartRadio within the next couple weeks. So I've submitted for both of them, and we're just waiting on them, and they take who knows how long. 30 minutes to 3 weeks is what I was told. So, all right, you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/shoot from the hip podcast. So be sure to go over there and like our page, follow us there, and, comment, whatever. And we'll probably have some sort of poll over there, and we'll make up something for you guys. But if you have some sort of would you rather question or some open-ended question that you'd like us to discuss on the podcast, be sure to let us know. You can also find us one more thing. You can find us on Instagram, and that's Hipshot Podcast. So be sure to go over there, follow us over there, and we'll try to start posting something, because I don't think we've posted anything yet.
We will do it, though.
Yes, we will absolutely make it happen. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, Hipshot Podcast. So if you're on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, we're on one of those. So be sure to follow along. Thank you once again for listening to this podcast. We hope to see you next week for the 5th episode of Shoot from the Hip.